Does Arcata really believe in diversity and the law? A Lost Coast Outpost reporter texted me what Arcata Parks and Recreation Department Supervisor Colin Groom told him. I quote, "He said he tried to reach out to Dwayne to fill out paperwork, and someone else approached him with an almost identical idea. Dwayne has no record of a phone call, text message, or email from Colin Groom." In the Mad River Union, Arcata City Manager Merritt Perry said, "The City of Arcata's involvement was limited. We just rent the building." Yet, in the Lost Coast Outpost event calendar, NorCal Collectors Expo, December 7, 2024 event has the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's official phone number and email address as their point of contact. NorCal Collectors Expo, April 5, 2025 event in the Lost Coast Outpost event calendar has the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's official phone number as their point of contact. Why the false statements? Possible reason number 1. California's Constitution, Article 16, Section 6, California's gift to public funds doctrine outlined in the state's constitution generally prohibits the use of public funds or resources for private benefit. However, the courts have recognized a public purpose exception, allowing such use if there's a significant public benefit, even if there's an incidental private benefit. For a government agency to provide funds or resources, even incidentally to a private entity, it must first serve a direct and substantial public purpose. For example, a city may partner with a nonprofit to run a public service, but a nonprofit simply using city contact information for its own purpose does not serve a public purpose. To legally use public resources, a formal and transparent agreement must be in place that clearly defines the public purpose being served. Simply having a nonprofit use department contact information without a clear public benefit would not pass this test. The city would face legal risk by allowing this because the arrangement is essentially providing free administrative and operational support to a private organization. Without a clear public purpose and a formal agreement, it fails to meet the legal standards of gift to public funds doctrine in California. In the City of Arcata, there is precedent for this. A 2023 memorandum of agreement between the City of Arcata and nonprofit Centro del Pueblo formalized a partnership to manage the Bayside Park Farms, and an agreement explained how the partnership advanced the public purpose of food sovereignty and cultural preservation. On September 26, 2025, I did a request for public records 1 through 3. I asked for a memorandum of agreement, a memorandum of understanding, or a formal agreement between the City of Arcata and Rebound/NorCal Collectors Expo for the use of the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's phone number and email address for Rebound/NorCal Collectors Expo event held on December 7, 2024 and April 5, 2025 events. My requests 4 through 6, I asked for a memorandum of agreement, a memorandum of understanding, or a formal agreement between the City of Arcata and Rebound NorCal Collectors Expo that shows a direct and substantial public purpose being served by allowing Rebound/NorCal Collectors Expo to use the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's phone number and email address for Rebound/NorCal Collectors Expo event held on December 7, 2024 and April 5, 2025. City Clerk Ray Varley's response to my request for public records says, "Based on the description of records detailed in your itemized requests 1 through 6, it is difficult for the city to identify what types of records you are specifically requesting. This puzzled me, but more on that later. So I asked for a request for records clarification on their response, specifically requesting clarification on, based on the description of records detailed in your itemized request, items 1 through 6, it is difficult for the city to identify what types of records you are specifically requesting. I wrote, Ray Varley, maybe these facts might help you. To legally use public resources like the City of Arcata's official phone and email, a formal and transparent agreement must be in place that clearly defines the public purpose being served. 2. How Centro del Pueblo had a memorandum of agreement with the city explaining how the partnership advanced the public purpose of food sovereignty and cultural preservation. Number 3, how Rebound/NorCal Collectors Expo used city resources. Then I asked to resubmit my request for public records items 1 through 6. The city's response to my resubmitting request for public records items 1 through 6, The city does not have any records response to your request detailed in items 1 through 6 listed above. Possible reason number 2, Brown Act. Lack of government transparency. The Brown Act requires that the public business be conducted openly. Any decision to allow a nonprofit to use city contact information should have been approved in a public meeting. Conducting such a decision in private would be a violation of the Act. My request for public records, July 25 of 2025, I ask City Council's findings of support or documentation demonstrating support or findings in the meetings that document the public benefit or valid public purpose that justifies the use of the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's phone number and email for the NorCal Collectors Expo December 7, 2024 event, as well as the April 5, 2025 event. City's response: the city does not have any records responsive to your request. Request for public records, September 4, 2025. Request: document that shows the resolution or the publicly approved authorization by the City of Arcata City Council during the City Arcata public meeting for Rebound and or NorCal Collectors Expo to use the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's phone number and email address for Rebound and or NorCal Collectors Expo December 7, 2024 event, as well as Rebound and or NorCal Collectors Expo April 5, 2025 event. Response: the city does not have any records responsive to this request. Possible reason number 3. California Government Code Section 8314 makes it unlawful for any elected state or local officer, employee or consulate to use or permit others to use public resources, including equipment, phones, computers, and compensated time for personal or campaign activities or for any purpose not authorized by law. Possible reason number 4. Misappropriation of public funds, California Penal Code 424. If an employee in charge of public funds knowingly misuses them for an unauthorized purpose, it is a felony offense. While this is typically associated with money, the use of city resources like a phone line and email could be viewed as a financial benefit to a nonprofit at taxpayers' expense. Possible reason number 5. Violation of Public Records Act, inadequate record keeping. California law requires agencies to properly maintain records in public business. By allowing a nonprofit to use city email address, the city would create a situation where official communications and nonprofit business are intermingled. This makes compliance with Public Records Act requests difficult and potentially illegal, as public emails and records must be made available to the public upon request. Request for public records on February 28, 2025. Meeting between Bryce Barker and Colin Groom on August 15th at 2 p.m. Any notes or documents of meeting. Number 2. Any notes or documents of phone calls on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 at 4:12 p.m. Thursday, August 22nd, 2024 at 11:32 a.m. Tuesday, the 27th, 2024 at 12 p.m. City Clerk Rihanna Lewis Stevenson's response. The city has conducted an extensive search and did not locate any records responsive to your records request. Here are my phone history with Colin Grooms to prove it happened. My request for public records, March 5th, 2025. I asked for any notes or documents between Colin Groom and Dwayne Quilla on Friday, August 30th at 4 p.m. regarding their meeting or any other communications they may have had. City's response: the city conducted an extensive search and did not locate any records responsive to your request. Dwayne Quilla emailed Colin twice after their meeting on Friday, August 30th. It was once on October 17th of 2024 and the other on November 19th of 2024. I did ask for any other communications they may have had, and here's proof that they happened. Request for public records, October 6, 2024. I asked for a memorandum of agreement of understanding and a formal agreement between the City of Arcata and Rebound / NorCal Collectors Expo for the use of the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's phone number and email address for Rebound / NorCal Collectors Expo event held on December 7, 2024 and April 5, 2025 events, as well as documents that showed the direct and substantial public purpose being served. Ray Varley, City Clerk, first response to my request for public records. Based on the description of records detailed in your itemized request, items 1 through 6, it is difficult for the city to identify what types of records you are specifically requesting. So I asked for records clarification, specifically on the answer. Based on the description of records detailed in your itemized request, items 1 through 6, it is difficult for the city to identify what types of records you are requesting. I gave City Clerk Ray Varley 3 facts. 1. What was legally needed to use public resources? 2. How it was done in the past? And 3. How city resources were used by Rebound/NorCal Collectors Expo. Then I resubmitted my 1 through 6 request for public records. City's response: City does not have any records responsive to your requests detailed in items 1 through 6 listed above. My request for public records, October 20th, 2025. I asked for emails and received and answered for the NorCal Collectors Expo December 7th, 2024 event. City's response is an email from Redheaded Black Belt along with internal emails. The email I liked is where Logan Rosselli tells Colin, again, I would advise you not to speak to anyone in the media or the public about this matter at this time while we work with our city team to decide on the best course of action. My request for public records, October 31st, 2025. I asked for emails from the public to recrec@cityofarcata.org from 11/15/24 to 12/6/24 in reference to the NorCal Collectors Expo, Rebound included. Number 2, emails responded to emails from the public from 11/15/24 to 12/6/24 from recrec@thecityofarcata.org in connection to the NorCal Collectors Expo event, Rebound included. The city's response is confusing for 2 reasons. 1, because all the emails I received are from cgroom@cityofarcata.org, and I asked for rec@cityofarcata.org. This is why it's potentially illegal, because official communications and nonprofit business are intermingled, making compliant requests difficult. Number 2, on page 1 of these cgroom@cityofarcata.org emails, Ben asked Colin to coordinate with Tom, and Colin said Tom reached out about a walkthrough. Page 2, Ben asked Colin, did you not receive the deposit check from the ink people? Page 4, check for the deposit being sent from the ink people /Rebound's account. City Clerk Ray Varley said to me, and I quote, maybe Rebound used the Parks and Recreation's phone number and email on their own, meaning without permission. In the Lost Coast Outpost event calendar, it shows Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's phone number and email address as their point of contact. Rebound's Benjamin Funk told the Mad River Union that when he learned another vendor had scheduled a similar event at the same time last December, the two merged their efforts into one event at the D Street Neighborhood Center. This other event has Tom Trapika's phone number as the contact person in the All Events event calendar. In the Redheaded Black Belt event calendar, it shows Rain Delay Card Company Instagram as their contact person. So why would Tom Trapika and Benjamin Funk use the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's official phone number and email address without permission from the City of Arcata and not use their own contact information like they did in the other publications? In the April 5th, 2025 event, NorCal Collectors Expo, and the Lost Coast Outpost event calendar, it shows the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's phone number as their point of contact. But it doesn't show the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's email, but has the Rain Delay Card Company instead. Why? No city email this time, and only the city phone number. Maybe, just maybe, because phone numbers don't leave paper trails like emails do. In the Lost Coast Outpost event calendar, June 28, 2025 event for the NorCal Collectors Expo, it has their own phone number and Instagram for their point of contact. Why? This is around the time I came out with my video, Does the City of Arcata Condone Homophobia, Racism, Sexual Abuse, and Classism? If, and I repeat, if Benjamin Funk and Tom Topeka did use the City of Arcata Parks and Recreation Department's phone number and email without permission that could allegedly be fraudulent use of city resources. A nonprofit can be charged with a felony for unlawfully using city resources, as this falls under crimes like misappropriation of public funds or embezzlement of public property. Embezzlement of public property, using, I repeat, using or taking public property, which can include resources beyond just money, for personal gain is considered embezzlement. This is a serious felony and can lead to imprisonment and fines. What legal involvement does the Ink people have? I have documents that shows Ben saying the Ink people wrote the check for the deposit out of Rebound's account. I hope you notice that all but maybe one person I showed you in this is white. Dwayne Quillett is a gay Native American. I'm not accusing any person, city, or entity of anything unlawful or illegal. I am just asking questions using documents. For context on this continuing developing story, go to Access Humboldt YouTube. Does the City of Arcata condone homophobia, racism, sexual abuse, and classism?